it's Kazzie K back on the couch again. Firstly, let me say how overwhelmed I was by the thank yous and actually some of the questions that came in from people that are not yet ready to either sit on the couch or to go public, because going public and facing some of the things that we abuse survivors have to face can be extremely daunting. Tonight I'm going to answer 4 questions that I felt were a little left of field for what I would normally speak of. But let's get to them. The first one came in from Mark from Far North Queensland. Mark let me know that he'd lost his son to a drug overdose 5 years ago, and the more he tried to find help, the more he found doors getting closed in his face. Mark's now semi-retired and he wanted to know, was there somewhere he could go to volunteer at a grassroots level where he could feel he was giving something back in the way of educating kids against the ugly perils of drugs. He also asked me not to recommend anyone that had anything to do with a government department, and sadly far too often we who have been abused or who have lost children, we know that sometimes governments get it terribly, terribly wrong, and it doesn't matter how often we ask them to listen to us, they have a problem. So to Mark, I'm a patron of an organisation called Bikers Unite Against Child Abuse, and they're pretty much Australia-wide, and if we're not in your part of the world, we're hoping to be there soon. So I will email you privately with all the details, but all the other details can be found on the Bikers Unite Against Child Abuse website. So Mark, I hope that helps. Have a good one. The next one that came in was from a lady called Lily in Perth, who was an abused child. She now has 3 daughters who are getting to an age where they're seeing things about child abuse and hearing things on the TV and reading them in the newspaper, as we all do, and they're now asking questions. And Lily's question to me was, how do you talk to them about these things? Well, I have grandchildren, and the one thing I've learned is you need to speak to them on an age-appropriate level and out of hearing range of maybe the older children. Being as that I don't know the age of the children, I would say simply age-appropriate. A mother's heart or a father's heart, whoever has, the day-to-day care of the children, they normally know what's best if they love their kids. So Lily, I hope that helps. The next question I got was from a lady on the Gold Coast called Deanne. And her and her partner are now integrating a family where both have children from previous relationships. She asked me about how do you get a functional family out of stepchildren and step-parents. Now listen, I'm no expert. I'll talk about the things that I've lived and I've learned along the way. And when I met my husband today, he came into our relationship with 2 children from his previous marriage. And you see, I have a problem with the word step families, because to me, when I was fighting back from all the years of abuse, the word step always made me feel I had to step up to achieve or step up to be accepted. And I just don't think kids need that kind of pressure. If they're coming from a broken marriage or a broken relationship, that can be a tough enough gig on their own. We dispensed with the word family, step family, and went with we are just one family, and we worked together. We also invented our round the table night, so everybody got to have their say. And you know what? Sometimes if you listen to how kids are feeling and actually hear them, you might not like what you hear. Lord only knows, I've heard plenty I wasn't ready for. But at the end of it, you always know where your kids are at, and you always know how they're feeling. So forget the step and just be an integrated family who can really have a lot of fun together if you just listen to your kids. Now the next one I got, I had to speak to my husband about actually reading this one publicly, but as always, I have an opinion on everything. I received an email from Sam, who graciously told me that he'd been following my blogs now for some years, and that he now, sadly, after years of abuse, got himself back on track, only to end up with a terminal illness. His illness is at its final stages, and the doctors have told him that there is nothing more they can do. They say they're keeping him comfortable. He says there is no comfort, the pain is so bad. He asked me a question, and asked me would I be brave enough to answer it publicly. So Sam, I'm not going to say where you're from, Sam, let's just say somewhere between here and there. Sam asked me my feelings on euthanasia, and this one again is bound to stir controversy, but I guess that's kind of become my middle name lately. I believe that as consenting adults of sound mind and body that have come to the end of an illness whereby the doctors across all walks of medical life have told them there is no more hope. Now, me personally, I'm a big believer in while there's life, there's hope. But I also know that there comes a time where there is no hope left. And I believe if it was me, I would want the right to decide to die with dignity and with those around me not going to be prosecuted at the time of my passing. That's my personal opinion, as every opinion or every bit of advice I give. It comes from my heart and it comes from something I've lived and learned or had to watch and be a part of. So Sam, I hope that answers your question, and I can do no more than tell you from my heart that I wish you well and I bid you all the hope that there is left for you, my friend. Take good care of yourself. Now, in the coming weeks, I've had some amazing people step up and say, yes, Kazzie, I want to sit on the couch. Coming soon is a lady who wants to talk about mental illness in juveniles. She has a son who suffers mental illness, and she has a story that will, I guess, be familiar to many. Her son is also trying to get to the point where he can sit on the couch and tell you through a teenage eyes and through a teenager living with mental illness just how tough it really is. And we like to say that we're always there for those that are in need. I can assure you the story of this family, albeit familiar, might just show that we need to be doing an awful lot more than we're doing right now for mental illness. So I think that about covers the questions I'm going to go through tonight. All I want you to know is that we really are going to make a difference with this. To the lovely lady Janine that wrote me from Norway, I wish you all the very best on your journey, and I hope that your book soon frees you from your past. To my very good friend and fellow survivor Kate Swift, your book arrived and it is amazing. Do yourselves a favour, everybody, get a copy of Kate's book. Kate's book can be purchased through Chipmunk. You can also find her on Facebook. So Kate, way to go, girl. So I guess with that said, until next time, this has been On the Couch with Kazzie K. And remember, you and your life matter. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Night all.